Morning, everyone. My name is Amber Davis, and I'm a Built Environment Initiatives Coordinator for Community Energy Association. I mostly work on our Retrofit Assist program, which is a retrofit concierge service that helps homeowners navigate their retrofit projects and the available rebates. So I'm looking forward to talking to you more about the various incentives today. I also have Jenna with me today, helping to facilitate. She is also a Built Environment Initiatives Coordinator for CEA and actively works on contractor capacity building, so you might be familiar with her already. I'm joining you today from the traditional territories of the Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta, and the city of Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta Districts 5 and 6. Community Energy Association acknowledges that we carry out our work on the traditional and ancestral territories of Indigenous peoples. Through our commitment to truth and reconciliation, we support First Nations, Inuit, and Métis communities in taking climate action and reaching their goals of energy sovereignty, security, and resilience. And I'd like to take a few minutes to share with you an example of Indigenous leadership in the built environment space. Akiskanook is a Tunaha community that is near Invermere, BC. Their retrofit journey began in 2008 with the introduction of a Tunaha Nation energy manager that focused on laying the groundwork for future energy planning and sustainability initiatives, and established a comprehensive understanding of community needs and opportunities in energy efficiency. In 2010, an energy and emissions plan was created for Tunaha Nation, creating a framework for reducing energy consumption and emissions within the nation. From 2013 to 2016, the community was introduced to the Engagement with Energy Conservation Assistance Program to support with retrofitting homes to make them more energy efficient, comfortable, and healthy. In 2017, a series of community workshops and hands-on demonstrations supported increased energy literacy for community members and created opportunities for feedback from community on priorities and needs for housing. This involved a week-long training for community members in partnership with Think Bright Homes in Invermere and funding from BC Hydro. In 2018, community homes received free energy assessments and quick fixes to improve their house's energy efficiency, like draft proofing, air sealing, high-efficiency light bulbs and shower heads, air filters, and pipe insulation. Learnings from these assessments and quick fixes identified the next steps, a bundled approach to repairs and retrofits. In 2019, Akiskanook took this bundled approach where they worked to improve the air tightness, insulation, windows and doors, and mechanical systems in these homes. In 2020, a significant milestone reached with the successful retrofitting of 10 elders' homes. This focused on improving the living conditions of elders by making homes more energy efficient and ensuring the homes are more comfortable, healthy, and sustainable for future generations. CEA has had the honour of walking alongside Akiskanook through some of the stages of their retrofit journey. We learned a lot from their story, and from these learnings and others, we continue to walk with other First Nations and settler communities to support similar processes and positive outcomes. For those who have not joined a webinar with us before, I'd like to quickly introduce who we are. Community Energy Association, or CEA, is a registered charity and non-profit committed to accelerating bold action by local governments and Indigenous communities related to climate and energy. CEA's work recognises that the built environment is a main source of community-based greenhouse gas emissions, and that action in these sectors can not only result in significant GHG emission reductions, but can lead to enhanced community resiliency and energy security, while increasing the comfort, health, and safety of our homes. CEA has been involved in building industry education and capacity building for almost a decade. Building a Legacy, Kootenay Clean Energy Transition, and Retrofit Assist as examples of some of the projects through which we can coordinate and deliver various activities supporting contractor capacity development across BC. Building a Legacy North and KSET work to fill gaps in industry education and training across BC, with a focus on the cold climates of northern communities and rural communities across the Kootenay and Boundary regions. As I briefly mentioned right at the start, Retrofit Assist offers a comprehensive concierge service to guide homeowners through the process of completing home energy retrofit projects. CEA recognises the importance of supporting industry capacity through this programme. If you operate in Rossland, the East Kootenay region, Kamloops, Whistler, Squamish, or Vernon, watch for more details in the chat about how you can become involved as a Retrofit Assist authorised contractor and participate in the Retrofit Assist referral programme, where you can win a gift card to a local business. Today's webinar is in thanks to the generous support of the organisations funding these programmes listed at the bottom of this slide. For a full list of upcoming events and webinars focused on high performance building, please visit our website at the bottom here, communityenergy.ca/events. Okay. At CEA, we have zero tolerance for harassment of staff, presenters, or event attendees, and we pride ourselves on a culture of respect. Unfortunately, we've had to significantly restrict the abilities for participants to engage through the chat and unmute functions to minimize opportunities for disruption. We recognize that this reduces opportunities between attendees and speakers, but our priority is ensuring a safe and respectful environment for all. I'm just going to leave this slide up here for you to read while I just run through a few housekeeping items. CEA is dedicated to offering educational opportunities to all, no matter their current knowledge or experience level. As I said, we prioritise creating a safe and welcoming environment for attendees to engage and participate. If you have questions, we'll go through them all at the end of the presentation, but please put them in the chat and send it directly to my colleague, Jenna Annett. We'll send some reminders about this process throughout the webinar. But yeah, please send directly to my colleague, Jenna. Alternatively, you're welcome to raise your virtual hand and we can unmute you during the Q&A portion at the end. A copy of today's presentation slides and recording will be shared with folks within the next week or so. We have a pretty straightforward agenda for this morning. I'll be going through the rebate programs one by one, explaining any changes that have occurred, and yeah, I will ask questions at the end. This webinar is not an in-depth look at every program available. Instead, we're focusing on recent changes to the programs. If you'd like to better understand the available provincial and utility programs, Jenna will share a link in the chat to a webinar that we held in January. Please note this recording does not include the changes that we're highlighting today. And I'll also explain a little bit about the Home Performance Contractor Network too. So as mentioned, this webinar is focusing on changes to these programs. I'm going to go through all of the different kind of offerings that are out there at the moment, and those highlighted green indicate where the changes have or are going to occur. So right at the top, we've got the Canada Greener Homes Loan Programme, recently renewed with an additional $600 million in funding, offering $40,000 interest-free loan for qualifying upgrades with a 10-year repayment period. We then have Clean BC with their two programs, Better Homes and Home Renovation Rebate Programme, which has had a change, and then their Energy Savings Programme, offering enhanced rebates for income qualified participants. The Energy Conservation Assistance Programme offers on-site visits, energy kits, direct installs, appliance installations, installation upgrades, and it's more of an energy coaching service. And we'll talk a little bit more about the changes we're expecting to see there. Fortis BC and their dual fuel heating system rebate, offering up to $5,000 for the installation of new high efficiency gas furnace and heat pump systems. And then the BC Hydro solar and battery storage rebate, offering up to $5,000 for solar panel installation and $5,000 for battery storage. And then depending on where you're located, there may be municipal offers and top-ups as well. So the Home Performance Contractor Network is going to come up a few times during this presentation, so I'll just give you a quick rundown of what it is and what it means. It's a network of accredited and qualified BC retrofit contractors whose clients can access rebates through the Clean BC rebate programs. HPCN contractors gain access to subsidised training, and their business information is displayed on search tools for homeowners looking for contractors through whom they can access rebates for their upgrades. HPCN contractors are also invited to various networking, engagement, and training opportunities. And HPCN streams currently include windows and doors, HVAC, and insulation, with streams for energy advisors and general retrofit contractors expected soon. How can you become a HPCN contractor? HPCN contractors are required to complete a series of sector-specific courses. All applicants must provide their business information, adhere to a code of conduct, and supply references. To be eligible to apply to the HPCN, contractors must be companies or independent contractors. Individual installers are not eligible to apply on their own. Contractors must directly employ their installers for the relevant sector. You must be currently operating in BC and have been operating in BC for a minimum of 3 consecutive years before the date of your application. If you don't have those 3 consecutive years, you're still welcome to apply, but you might be subject to additional review. If you're interested in becoming a HPCN contractor, please keep your eyes out for a follow-up email after today's session that will include all the information you need. And if you have any questions about the HPCN at all, we might have someone here from HPSC today to help answer, but if not, we can definitely get you those answers after the webinar. Okay, so we'll take a look at Clean BC first as one of the changes that have occurred in the rebate world. Clean BC is the overarching program for provincial rebates. Both BC Hydro and Fortis BC funnel the majority of their rebates through this Clean BC program. And it has 2 streams, like I mentioned, the Clean BC Better Homes and Home Renovation Rebate Program, and then the Clean BC Energy Savings Program. Just to give you a reminder of kind of the different eligibility criteria and an overview, I kind of refer to Clean BC, the Better Homes Program, as their standard rebate program. Because it's not income dependent. They offer a variety of rebates, including up to $5,500 for insulation, up to $4,000 for a heat pump, and up to $2,000 for windows and doors. Homeowners are required to use a HPCN registered contractor for insulation and heat pump installations. It's currently not required that windows and doors are installed by a HPCN registered contractor, but it may kind of turn that way in the future. The good news for you as contractors is that homeowners cannot DIY their installations through this program. They must hire a contractor to be eligible for the rebates, even windows and doors. HVAC products also need to be included on the Clean BC's eligible product list, and the homeowner has 6 months from their invoice date to submit their rebate applications. So on larger projects, rebate applications can be submitted in a piecemeal approach. There have been 2 changes recently with this program, so let's take a look at what that entails. So firstly, as of April the 11th, rebates for fossil fuel to heat pump or heat pump water heater upgrades ended, along with their electric service upgrade rebate, as this was only for fuel switching customers. The reason for this rebate ending was that they found they had higher uptake of these fuel switching rebates through the Energy Savings Program since it was launched last year and they included that middle income tier. It's important to note that for northern BC communities, this fuel switching rebate is still available. They are providing a grace period for installations or quotes around this date, which you can read on the slide here. And these dates are also available on the Clean BC website under the individual upgrades, but feel free to take a snapshot of this now if you like. So for installations completed by April the 11th, the invoice must have been dated on or before April the 11th, and the rebate application needs to be submitted by the homeowner by August 31st. If a homeowner had a quote or estimate dated on or before April the 11th, and they completed the work and received an invoice by May 23rd, they can also still claim the rebate as long as they submit their application by August 31st too, and include their quote with their application. The second change that occurred recently is for electrically heated homes upgrading to a heat pump. Now, previously, this rebate was between $1,000 and $2,000, depending on the type of system and the utility provider of the home. And now it's more focused on how much of the home the heat pump would serve as the primary heating system. For heat pump systems that serve between 50 and 79% of the home's conditioned space, including a main living area, the rebate is $1,500. They recommend a heat load calculation and F280 calculation is completed, but it's not mandatory. The heat pump must be on their qualified product list as well. For heat pump systems that serve 80% or more of the home's conditioned space, including a main living area, the rebate is $4,000. An F280-12 heat load calculation is required, and the heat pump must be on the Clean BC qualified product list and the NEEP cold climate list as well. These 2 points are very important. If you install a whole home system, but there is not an F280 calculation, or the heat pump is not cold climate rated, the rebate will go down to $1,500. Okay, the second program that's changed, Fortis BC, they are offering a dual fuel heating system rebate for homeowners who install an electric heat pump combined with a high efficiency gas furnace. Again, these installations need to be completed by a HPCN registered contractor, and the equipment must be on their qualified product list. They do require a heat load calculation to be submitted with the rebate application, but it's not quite as strict as the Clean BC electric to heat pump rebate. You can use software that uses F280-12 methodology, such as Teco Quality First, Bright F280, and Energuide Hot 2000 reports. You can use a software that uses F280-90 methodology or manual J2, but they will not accept rule of thumb sizing. 2 changes have occurred with this rebate. Firstly, the rebate used to be $10,000, but it's now dropped to $5,000 as of May 1st. And secondly, they had an income qualified stream for this rebate that offered $15,000, but this ended April 30th. These changes have occurred due to higher than anticipated participation in the program, and the changes also ensured that they can continue to offer a rebate moving forward. Again, they are providing a grace period for installation and quotes around these dates. So for installations completed on or before April 30th, the invoice has to be dated on or before that date, as well as the commissioning sheet that they require. And then the rebate must be submitted within 6 months of the installation date. If a homeowner had a quote dated on or before April 30th, they must have also had proof of a paid deposit before April 30th, and then they had until May 31st to complete the installation and be invoiced. The rebate application has to be submitted within 6 months as well, which would bring you to November 30th this year. And these deadlines apply both to the standard stream and the income qualified stream of this rebate. As I briefly mentioned earlier, so the ECAP program is also expected to see some changes, and we were really hoping to be able to provide you with more information regarding an expected revamp of this program today, but unfortunately we weren't able to get that information. But changes are coming, and we will send out an update to you all once we know more. Right now we're kind of expecting that it might kind of link with the Canada Greener Homes Affordability Program, and that ECAP might facilitate that program, offering direct installations for low to middle income households. But yeah, we will let you know when we know more.
And then we have another question here. Is it possible you can share information about dual fuel rebates, please?
Yeah, so dual fuel, like I said, a high efficiency gas furnace and heat pump system. I have had a few people ask, say if you've installed a relatively new gas furnace, it's a couple of years old, whether you can add a heat pump onto that existing system and then be able to get the rebate. Unfortunately not. Fortis are requiring that it has to be a brand new system, and the furnace it's replacing must be at least 10 years old. So there are some limitations there, unfortunately. So yeah, brand new high efficiency gas furnace and heat pump system. Yeah, you have to have a heat load calculation to submit with your rebate application. And yeah, $5,000. Have to use a HPCM registered contractor, and the equipment, the quoted equipment, must also be on their product list as well.
Perfect. And that's through the Fortis BC program.
Yes.
So I'll just pop that link in the chat there for you folks to see some more. All right, thanks, Sarah. So just a little, yeah, this is our first time having the chat set up this way, so appreciate that. So if you do want to message me, you just have to click on my name to message me. Once you click on my name in the participants, I'm assuming the participant window there, then you should be able, that should open a chat for you. Thanks for that, Sarah. All right, Brett asks, can you please explain in more detail what is available for Indigenous communities and how that process works?
That is a great question. If I'm completely honest, off the top of my head, I'm not sure. But I can definitely look into it. I know that some of these programs do have streams for like multi-unit residential buildings, and there may be Indigenous streams, but unfortunately that's not something that I am 100% sure on. But I absolutely will look after this webinar and send you some more information. So Jenna, if we can record who asked that question.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can include it we'll include a follow-up email to everyone here today and everyone who's registered. That'll include the link to this recording with the presentation slides, so we can just include that information in that general follow-up email to everyone. Just write a note here. All right. Question from Keith, can any of these rebates be stacked?
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, looking at the screen here with all of the different ones, the Canada Greener Homes loan, you can stack with any of these programs. With Clean BC, so if someone qualifies for the energy savings program, they have 3 income levels. Income levels 1 and 2 include building envelope rebates. Income level 3 is just for heat pumps and for fuel switching, so for fossil fuel to heat pump. If someone qualifies in income level 3, so just that heat pump tier of the energy savings program, they can access building envelope rebates through the Better Homes program. But if they qualify under income level 1 or 2, that includes the building envelope rebates, then they can't access Better Homes as well. Yeah, the Energy Conservation Assistance Program, that one is income qualified, and that can be used with the Energy Savings Program if someone qualified for that as well, and the loan. Fortis, again, you can use that with Clean BC, BC Hydro, you can use with all of them as well. So in a nutshell, yes, most of them are stackable, which is great.
Great. Thanks, Amber. And yeah, at the beginning of the webinar, I did share a link. We did go into more detail about these programs in a webinar held in February. Unfortunately, we're, I don't know, 4 months since then, and there's already changes. So it's hard to have kind of one webinar to share with you that summarizes all of that. But if you watch that past webinar with the information you've learned today in mind, you should have a good idea of everything that's available. All right, Mike asks if there are additional rebates for Windows. And notes that there's currently the 9,500 in rebates for Windows. Any additional rebates to be aware of?
Unfortunately not, maybe municipally. So yeah, through the energy savings program, that's $950 per window or door, up to a maximum of 9,500. Through the Better Homes program, which is the non-income qualified program, that rebate drops to $100 per window or door, up to 2,000. I know in Roslyn, one of the communities that Retrofit Assist works in, they are also offering up to $1,000 for windows and doors. So yeah, maybe check your local government and see whether they have any offers. I personally, I would really like to see rebates for building envelopes, specifically windows and doors, increase. I think, they require triple pane windows and doors essentially. And that costs a lot of money. And $100 or $950, it's not a lot. And windows and doors are some of the most expensive upgrades that a homeowner can do. So I would really like to see an increase in the amount soon, but yeah, I'm not in charge of that, unfortunately. I wish it was.
Perfect. All right. And Greg just asks about the role of energy advisors in these programs.
Mm-hmm. So for the Canada Greener Homes loan, an EnerGuide valuation is required in order to access it. So pre-retrofit EnerGuide valuation is the precursor to be able to apply. And then once the retrofits are completed, you have to get a post-retrofit valuation too, just to round everything up. In some of the programs, so the Clean BC electric to heat pump rebate, they're requiring an F280 calculation now. Energy advisors are able to provide that F280 calculation. They're not too fussy about where it comes from. A contractor can do it or an energy advisor can do it. Same with Fortis BC and their dual fuel heating system rebate. The Hot 2000 report from the EnerGuide valuation can be used, or the F280 calculation, so energy advisors can play a role there. Yeah, so I'd say heat load calculations and energy advisors are definitely kind of playing a bigger role now. I found personally through my experience with Retrofit Assist that, through our program as well, we require that all of our participants do have EnerGuide valuations. So for a contractor to then go out and do that calculation themselves and spend the time doing it, it can be quite time consuming and costly. So we are finding that having the energy advisor kind of do that and have all of the information there already from the EnerGuide valuation is really beneficial. So yeah, I think having an EnerGuide valuation for these homeowners accessing these rebates is a great precursor, and yeah, provides a lot of insight and tools for the homeowner moving forward.
Yeah, great. A bit of a follow-up question here. If we know whether the anticipated Canada Greener Homes affordability program will require energy evaluations.
Honestly, they haven't shared a lot of information. I've been trying to dig and see what I can find, but yeah, they haven't mentioned too much. The ECAP program right now doesn't require EnerGuide evaluations, so I'm not sure whether they would, and it seems like it's kind of on a very kind of case-by-case basis as to what a participant would receive through the program. Some people might only get kind of light bulbs and weather stripping. Other people might get appliance installations or larger upgrades. I think we've had someone through Retrofit Assist get a heat pump through the program, but it's the only one I've heard of. But I would like to think from, I guess, a preventative point of view that yes, an EnerGuide evaluation might be required just to ensure that, they're not putting a load of heat pumps in really drafty homes and making the situation worse for people. We don't want to see an increase in energy poverty or anything like that. So I think as a preventative measure and good practice, I think that it would be a great idea, but yeah, we'll wait and see what they do.
Okay, great. Yeah, and I hope, Greg, that answers your question. Greg asked if we're getting any previews from the federal government regarding the possibility of another federal rebate program.
I think the affordability program is the only one that's been rumored at the moment.
Thanks. And a couple clarifying points here, just around the question about stacking rebate programs, and thanks for this flag, Tanya. But yes, so you can't stack, like Amber had said, that there were two different Clean BC programs. You can't stack both of those. So yeah, the existing provincial programs can be stacked as one or the other for folks to access.
Okay. Yeah, so just to clarify that then, if someone qualifies into income level 3 of the energy savings program, which is heat pump upgrades only, they cannot access building envelope rebates through Better Homes?
I
Or
think it means you can access heat pump rebates through both.
for the same upgrade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry if you just made that more confusing. All right. And then thanks, Stephanie had a good point there for when we were talking about window rebates, just that for communities with fire smart programs, they may have rebates that can cover costs for upgrading from single pane windows or adding certain types of fire smart insulation. And those can be stacked on existing rebate programs as well. Thanks for that.
That's a great point. Yeah.
All right. All right. And then Eduardo asks whether the customer has to pay for the improvement first and apply for the rebate after.
Generally speaking, yes. So the Canada Greener Homes loan, you can get 15% of your approved loan amount upfront to help cover deposits, but the remaining 85% comes at the end once you've completed everything. With Clean BC Better Homes, yet you have to pay for it first, then get the rebate afterwards. With the energy savings program, the registered contractor actually submits the rebate application on behalf of the participant. And what they'll do is they'll reduce the participant's final invoice amount by the rebate amount that they're eligible for. So it kind of reduces the amount that the homeowner has to pay upfront, and the contractor takes on that rebate process. But yeah, with the Fortis BC program, the dual fuel program, and BC Hydro solar program, yep, you have to pay and then get the rebate afterwards.
Great, thank you. Okay, this is a bit of, let me know, Amber, if I should repeat any of this, but can you detail the mini split caveat? So 1,200 square foot or 1,200 BTU or smaller only, and as this does not include multi-splits, so how would a multi-split be defined?
Okay. So yeah, the way that Clean BC are doing it is that yeah, mini splits can only be installed and be applicable for a rebate if the square footage of the home is under 1,200 square feet. And I believe that then falls into the partial heating system rebate of $1,500. For the whole home system, the whole home rebate, sorry. I mean, the idea is if it's whole home, then you should have an appliance big enough to be able to serve the entire home. If your home's over 1,200 square feet, then yeah, a mini split shouldn't really be kind of appropriately sized. So yeah, a multi-split would be used in those cases. I believe that, if you wanted to put in a multi-split in a home that was 1,200 square feet or less, you potentially could and still get the whole home heating system rebate, potentially, I'm not sure. But yeah, again, it comes down to sizing because you have to have that F280 calculation. Depending on what that calculation says, you're going to find out what size system you need. And the rebate amount is going to be based on the size of the system that's been quoted and installed versus the heating capacity stated on the F280. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, thank you. And we have Tanya here with us today with the Home Performance Stakeholder Council. So maybe I'll give Amber a break and direct this question to her. Brett asks, and Tanya, I can go ahead and request for you to unmute yourself. But Brett asks, will the Home Performance Stakeholder Council directory for energy advisors ever go live?
Yes. Hi, Jenna. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks so much for hosting this webinar. I'm happy to answer this question. So We are excited to be launching both the energy advisor sector and the general retrofit sector extremely soon. I can't give an exact date, but I can say it'll be before the end of this month. So please stay tuned. I believe, Jenna, you were going to be sending out some contact information about the HPCN. So if you're not already connected with us, please use that contact information to get connected with us to make sure that you find out about it as soon as we go live.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. All right. Sorry, Liam was just providing some follow-up information about the, I think, discussion around when folks will be paid from rebates. Just saying that Canada Greener Home loan funds can be dispersed before having a paid invoice. But an unpaid invoice is sufficient to trigger the loan payment. So Amber, if you know anything around that process.
Yeah, like some people need the loan funding to be able to pay the contractor. So that's fine. If the homeowner submits an unpaid or still to pay invoice, that's totally fine. They'll accept that. The main thing with the loan in terms of invoicing and things like that is they want to make sure that you have done the upgrades that you said you were going to do. The energy advisor, when they do the post-retrofit assessment, they are basically the ones that are in charge of ticking the boxes and saying, yes, this product is eligible. It's eligible for the loan. It's a verified upgrade and things like that. So yeah, a homeowner can upload an unpaid invoice and still get the loan funding. That's no problem.
Great, thanks. Any other questions in the chat? Oh, there we go. Sarah asks if Van City still has grants to cover undergrad evaluations.
Sorry, say that again.
Whether Van City has grants to cover undergrad evaluations.
Yes, they do. They're offering, I think, $150 for the pre-evaluation and $250 for the post-evaluation for Van City members. And yeah, I believe you just need to contact your account manager or the member services center or something like that and provide them with your reports, and then they can give you those funds.
All right, I believe that's it, Amber.
Perfect. All right, I'm just going to go back to the end here. It has my contact information. So yeah, if you have any other questions that come up, feel free to drop me an email, adavis@communityenergy.ca. And yeah, again, feel free to scan the QR code here to look at our events, and we'll have more up there in a month or so. But thank you all so much for joining this morning, and I hope it was helpful. And yeah, we will share more information with you in the follow-up email along with the recording and the slides. But yeah, thank you everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week.